Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with a review of the stainless power long tube off-road headers available for 2015 and up S550 GT Mustangs. In this video, we're going to be looking at a few different things in regards to these headers. We're going to talk about the materials and construction of the headers themselves and the install too. We'll talk more about this later, but I can tell you right now that long tube headers make for a difficult install, so I'm gonna call this one a 3 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter. The stainless power off-road long tube headers are going to be a good option for someone looking for a natural finish long tube that's going to eliminate the use of cats and maintain 3-inch connection pipes that'll step down to 2.5-inch for a cat back. The connection pipes that come with these headers are 3-inch off-road pipes that do have that step down, which means that you'll need a 2.5-inch mid-pipe. Long tube headers are going to offer both performance and sound gains, but the end result of your headers will depend on the rest of your setup. The runners on these particular headers are 1 7/8 inch, which is slightly different than the 1 3/4 inch offering. Traditionally, you see forced induction cars running a larger runner and NA cars running a smaller runner, but I wouldn't really say that that's a hard and fast rule, especially with the new Coyotes. So you don't need to have forced induction to run a 1 7/8 inch diameter runner. You just need to keep in mind your current mods and the goals that you have for your car when you're looking around, as well as what going with this size runner will do to your power band with the mods that you have. If you have some bolt-ons and you're still NA, you might see a hit on your low end torque, but once you spin the Coyote motor up, the larger diameter is what's going to help keep things moving, so you'll see top end gains. Getting into the specifics here, these are a 304 stainless steel header that have a natural or a raw finish, which is going to be different than a chrome or ceramic coated header. It obviously doesn't have the polished appearance that a chrome header would have. While these don't have the ceramic coating either, they are made from that 304 stainless steel tubing, so you won't have to worry about corrosion. Not to mention, you get to see the beautiful weld since these do have that raw finish. This is mandrel bent tubing, which is going to help with smoother air delivery. The primary tubes then merge down to a 3-inch collector with Venturi style merge spikes that are going to optimize the exhaust flow. Then the header flanges up here are also laser cut, and they do that to prevent leaks and create a good fit. Then you have your connection pipes here. Like I said earlier, they are 3-inch and they're not catted, and they are going to step down to 2.5 inches. That means that you can bolt up to your factory cat back or an aftermarket 2.5-inch one, so you have some flexibility there. If you didn't know already, when you change your header setup to a long tube setup, you also need to change your mid-pipe to a shorty mid-pipe to work with the long tubes, so just keep the 2.5-inch requirement in mind when you pick out your mid-pipe. If we move on to price, as we all pretty much know, or you know if you've been shopping for long tubes, that they're going to be a solid investment. They're pricey and they're difficult to install. The option from stainless power, since they are a higher quality item made from great materials, are going to be on the more expensive side. The 1 7/8 inch option that we have here are going to be slightly more expensive than a smaller runner, which isn't unusual. You do tend to see the larger runners costing more than the smaller runners, but not usually by very much at all. You can figure on spending between $800 and $900 for a set of these. But do keep in mind that you will still need a shorty mid-pipe in order to install these, so you can figure on purchasing that as well. And that's why I called long tube headers an investment earlier. But you do have to keep in mind all the benefits and power that you'll be getting from this setup, and to put things in perspective, it's not just these headers that are going to be expensive. You're going to be looking at headers costing over $1,000 or very close to $1,000 anyways. As for the install on this one, long tubes are always going to be a difficult install. I don't say this often, but if you don't have a helping hand or you don't have much experience, it might be better to just take the car to a shop for the install. If you do tackle this yourself, it's going to be a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the scale and a day in the garage, especially considering that you'll be installing a mid-pipe with these headers. And you can do this on a jack and stands, but a lift would make this easier for sure. You're gonna need your toolbox for this one with an assortment of different sockets, wrenches, and extensions. You're looking at things like disconnecting the steering shaft, dropping the starter, and removing a motor mount. A lot of this install obviously requires working in some pretty tight areas, so while everything is straightforward, getting access and maneuverability in these areas is actually tricky, which is why you need to pull a motor mount on one side. This allows you to raise the motor slightly with a jack to give you some more room. Having a helping hand in this case is really going to benefit you, but a day of wrestling and some pretty penny spent in these mods is totally worth it in my opinion. So wrapping things up with the stainless power long tube off-road headers, these are 304 stainless steel headers with 1 7/8 inch runners and 3-inch collectors that run down to 3-inch connection pipes that'll step down to 2.5 inches. As usual, you can check them out more online for yourself right here at AmericanMuscle.com.